everybody, welcome to my latest video. It's been hot these days, but we've got a lovely breeze this evening. And I've been working into the evenings quite a bit lately, trying to get these rafters onto the crack shack. So follow along to see how far I get on that. Plus I head to the garden to attack a section of the weeds. I make some plum jam, and we do a little video montage of the work down at Chenade's. And I gotta tell you, the progress has been really amazing, and it's turning into a beautiful house. So I've got lots to share on this one. I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys at the end. Hi everybody, it's a gorgeous morning out here, and I'd even go so far as to say it's a little chilly, and I'm going to use this opportunity to finally tackle my neglected garden. So the crack shack is on hold for the moment while I make space for these lovely little cucumbers that are popping up, and the corn that wants to have life as well. I have no idea if these things are going to have time to actually produce before the end of the growing season, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. But for that to happen, these little seedlings actually need a space to live, and right now everything is overrun by the older plants and by weeds, and I have been having nightmares about this garden, and it's time to finally tackle it. So I'm definitely a bit scared, especially of these horrible sticky grass seed things that are going to find their way onto my clothes, and they're impossible to get off. But once I get this done, I'm going to be so happy to have it finished. I don't even know the best tool for the job for this. I could trim this off, but it grows back so quickly, so I feel like trying to pull it out at the roots could be the way to go. There's paths under here, believe it or not. Never mind, the shovel is just not cutting it. This is a job for the hoe. Made more complicated by the fact that I have a total tomato jungle to work around. Chili plants are in there somewhere, and it's a total mess. But I'll start out here, gain courage, and work my way into that as I go. I've been looking for this. This is going to be useful. The tricky thing is that in here I have crazy tomatoes growing, and I don't know where the roots are, so I can't really hack at it. with reckless abandon like I'd want to with weeds. So let's see if I can find the base of the plant and prune this back into something that seems like a tomato plant, because right now she's a monster. Wow. This looks like the green zebra tomato actually, and these are really cool. They're actually ready at this stage. So I've been looking over into this garden looking for red tomatoes, not realizing that it was the green zebra. So I thought this plant wasn't producing at all. But as it turns out, I have lots of little tomatoes in here. So I'll prune and pick, I guess, at the same time. If that's even a thing, who knows? Okay, come on. Yeah, you can see loads on there, and they're not the tastiest tomato I've ever had, but they are tasty. But the thing I like about them is they add a really nice contrast into tomato dishes, because you have a bunch of different colors. I have some yellow tomatoes, some obviously red tomatoes, and it's really cool to get green ones in there as well, because who doesn't love an artistic tomato salad, I ask you? I'll also want to get this beast up onto a tomato stake. Oops, I heard everything. This is why I like to prune and stake my tomatoes, otherwise they just get absolutely out of control and you just lose them. You lose them to themselves. They want to be crazy, they want to have lots of offshoots, and it just doesn't work for a garden that's tight on space. So let's see if I can save this thing. This is weird. It's actually rooted in two places. So it's stuck in the ground over here, and then also over here. And so that makes my life a little easier, I think, because you know what? I'm just pulling this thing out. It's too much of a nightmare. And there's loads of tomatoes on it, so I feel like I've had a good harvest from it. And I have lots of cucumber babies, so let's make space. Yeah, roots there, roots there, roots there. This thing got out of control, but look at that beauty. So this is going to be an absolute mission. I'm going to do things bed by bed and see what I can get done before things get toasty around here. So this is where I'm at. This is bed number 1 for the mission, for the garden mission. And I'll see you guys soon when this thing is looking a lot nicer. Okay, this is looking a million times better. I've removed the green zebra tomato to make space. I've staked and pruned these ones. I've left a bit of craziness up at the top. Normally I would want one single stem, but let's let the top live and see what happens. I've liberated these blueberries from their weedy nightmare, and in the process 3 blueberry plants perished. 2 were already dead actually, and 1 was a victim of my overzealous hoeing. I had wanted to continue the path work, but this is really tough because the grass is sort of intertwined into the geotextile cloth. And as you can see, the sun is starting to peek over. There's not a cloud in the sky, and it's already horribly hot out. So I've managed to get a whole bowl of these tomatoes, which is crazy. I never noticed them before. They were just hidden in there, camouflaged. Let's take the shovel to somewhere where it's not going to get lost in the weeds again. Let's say hello to these beautiful little sunflowers. Hello. And this is my 3rd wheelbarrow of weeds, so you can see I've removed a lot. And I'm tired, and this is definitely not the kind of thing I want to be doing before breakfast and coffee for too long. So I'm going to stop for that, but first I'm going to give myself a little task. These plums are ripe, and there's loads of them on the tree. There's loads down on a tree down there as well. And so I'm going to pick them, and as I enjoy my breakfast and coffee, I'm going to take the seeds out and prepare them to make jam. So this beautiful plum tree has been here on the land since I moved in, and it's a funny one. It gives loads and loads of fruit, way more than I could ever use. And so much that it actually breaks the branches some years. And then other years, like last year, there's absolutely nothing doing on this tree. So I don't know if that's a regular thing for plum trees. I really don't know much about the world of plums. I thought that I didn't actually like them, but it turns out these ones are very delicious. And so I'm really happy to have this tree. Some friends came over a while ago to pick the plums to use for jam, but apparently for jam you want them to be quite squishy. And so it's about 2 or 3 weeks later and the plums seem to be perfect now. A lot of them have fallen onto the ground, and so I'm trying to get them before they fall, and I can't do anything with them. Some of them are kind of rotten on here. Some of them have been munched. Some of them have turned into shriveled up plums. And the rest, it looks like there's over 100 on here, are looking amazing. So making jams and processing fruit from all of my many trees is gonna be exactly what the crack shack is for. I find doing things in my kitchen, it's sort of dark in there and really hard to film. And I would like to share some of the food processing stuff that I do. Plus it's cramped in there and it's just not an ideal working space. So with the crack shack, the idea is to make a beautiful, well-lit, well-ventilated space that makes it not only a joy to prepare food in, but also just a nice setting to be able to film and share what I'm doing. So hopefully that means that I ramp up the fruit production, because I do find that with a lot of the fruit, I never seem to pick it at the right time. I've got lots of peaches ready down on the bottom terrace, lots of pears. They're all still hard, and I always seem to miss the window. But if I'm more focused on food prep, because I have a lovely spot to actually do it in, perhaps I'll be better about picking the fruit and actually getting things done at the right moments in time. So I've already got a full pot of this stuff and still many more remaining on the tree. I also have 2 other trees with smaller plums on them, a totally different variety. They're more oblong, that are really tasty as well. So perhaps I'll just have to start eating more plums, and maybe I'll also do a plum sauce or something else like that as well. Plum wine has also been suggested, but for the moment we're sticking to plum jam, and I'm gonna make myself some breakfast and coffee, and then we'll wash these and get the pits out and make some jam. So plum jam appears to be very easy to make. You wash them and remove any weird ones, which I'll go through later. And then you take out the pits, and then you basically just stick them in a pot and add an absolute buttload of sugar. So the plums are washed, and I'm all set up here on the deck. One of my favorite spots to be. There's a lovely breeze, it's shaded. I've got my cheesy kale eggs. The kale is from the garden. It's doing amazingly. I've got my coffee at hand. And basically, I'm going to have a relaxing rest of the morning pitting some plums. I don't know how easy these ones come out. I'm not very familiar with the world of plums. Sometimes the pits sort of just twist out, and sometimes you have to chop them out, so I'm not sure if this is going to be an easy task or a more time-consuming one. But one thing I can tell you is that the pits are a lot smaller than I was expecting, so perhaps I've hit the jackpot. Maybe this is some sort of fabulously special plum with tiny pits that makes it really easy to cook with. So yeah, look at that. I can probably just pop this out now. So this might be very enjoyable, and it's nice just to be able to use the fruit, because if I'm honest with you, I often just let these plums fall to the ground and don't do anything with them. So I'm going to be on the lookout for ones with holes, and by the end of this I'll have a lovely bowl of pitted plums ready to go in the pot. I don't think I've ever appreciated how beautiful the plums are. It's looking very nice in there. We've got a bowl of pips. The coffee is gone, the eggs are gone, and I've enjoyed my breakfast. This took about a half an hour of chopping work. And now to the stovetop. So this has been boiling away with a little bit of water in there. And now it's time to add some lemon juice. And an ungodly amount of sugar. But wait, there's more. It's like 1.5 kilos of sugar is going into this thing. This is a quadruple batch, and I guess the idea of so much sugar is that that's what makes it set, but it is terrifying. It is terrifying. I don't make a lot of jam, and so every time I do this, I'm always quite shocked. But I'm sure it's going to be delicious. So now I stir this all in, wait for the sugar to dissolve, simmer it for a long time, and then we have jam. And then we bring it to a low boil, stirring often, and do this for about 30 minutes. And then we'll have jam. Okay, this is going for a while. Let's turn it off and see if it coats the back of this spoon. That looks coated. I don't know. Coats how? How much coating? That seems coated to me. So I'm gonna let this cool and stick it into some jars. So the jam is done. Unfortunately, it didn't set. I think I had it on a rolling boil for too long. The internet has told me I can possibly save the jam-like consistency by adding chia seeds, so I've done that for a few jars. As you can see, I've had a box of jars delivered, so I'm not scrounging around for them anymore, so I'm about to go into full-grown food production, which excites me. And then I have jars of what is basically a plum syrup. It's delicious. It's going to be amazing on desserts. I've been putting it on my yogurt, but it's not really jam. So the internet also told me that I could spread this out thinly in a dehydrator and turn it into fruit leather. So I've got that on the go down at Chenade's right now because she has a really nice dehydrator. So I'll give all of the plummy things a try once it has a chance to cool down. But speaking of Chenade's, she's been busy over yonder. Maybe you can see a house. I have loads of footage to share from how we got from a foundation to that point. So I feel like now is a good time to get into it. So, what's happening today, Sinead?
The walls are coming, the walls are coming.
And that gigantic truck. With the foundation done, it was time for the walls, and they came on a giant truck all the way from Lithuania that are made by a company called Eco Cocoon. The whole building is fabricated and designed off-site. It comes on the giant truck, and since there was no chance of this thing coming down our track, it was offloaded at the builder's yard up top and brought down load by load.
I think I'm sitting on the bag of something you're going to be very jealous about.
I know, clay.
The finest clay.
So that was hard work, but if you want to talk about hard work, you have to look at Chenade's effort on digging out the floor of her entire tiny house. She discovered that there was a damp problem with water rising up, and so she dug down to meet it, to figure out what the problem was, and she discovered that there's a spring or a stream of some kind running through her house, coming out of a giant rock in the corner. And so she's got some ideas for how to drain this out and would eventually like to build an earth floor. But if anyone out there has any ideas for how to clear out this swampy area in the bottom of Chenade's building, she's definitely open to hearing them. So please get in touch in the comments. Are you delighted?
Yes, look at my house.
Woohoo! Amazing. That is going on there. I was away for the weekend, so unfortunately I didn't get to film everything, but you get the idea. The walls are up. It was a lot of effort. The guys did an amazing job, and Chenade is very, very happy with the progress. So I'll leave you there with the walls in place, and my next update will be all about the roof. And I really can't wait to see these guys get to work because they're a really talented crew, and it's going to be lots of fun to share that with you. So the team at Wood Creation are just getting into Chenade's major roof build, which is going to be amazing, and I'm looking forward to popping down and checking that out regularly. But I still have my little roof up here on the crack shack to work on. And I'm not sure if you can hear it in my voice or not, but I'm not feeling the greatest. I've got slightly swollen glands and a bit of a sore throat after a weekend helping my friend at a bar at a 4-day festival. So I've been doing that, and that's why there haven't been so many updates or videos. I just took the weekend off, enjoyed the festivities, realized I'm probably not up to 4 days of festivities in a row, and I probably won't do that again, and I'm paying for it now with a sore throat, but I have arrived back on site ready to continue with my project. And so yesterday morning, with my sore throat in mind, I didn't want to be doing too much talking into the camera, so I basically just got on with things and decided to show more rafter work, which I gotta say might not be the most exciting viewing, but it has taken up a huge amount of my time, especially with the sanding. So I did get on with a lot of sanding, but I decided I also wanted to round off the front of the rafters just to match the beams at the side of the building as well, and the pergola, and basically everything I seem to do. I always like to do a little rounded off front rather than ending it just squarely. So with 9 rafters, that took a little time. It was pretty simple marking, very simple cuts, but super repetitive. And in the back, for no good reason at all, because nobody will really see it except for me, I'll know it's there, I decided to also do a little cut that sort of stylizes it slightly on the back also. And so cutting one rafter didn't really take all that long, but cutting all 9 of them took quite a while. And then they had to be sanded, and I've mentioned this a few times already, that I want my rafters to be visible from inside the building. They're not going to be covered up with a ceiling. The ceiling will sort of sit on top of the rafters. And so rather than sanding them in place, I wanted to get them sanded to a high quality down on the ground. And holy smokes, that took forever, especially considering I wanted to also use the sander to round off the fronts and the back. And yeah, I started late afternoon and I was going until early evening. And it's not the most enjoyable job, I gotta say. It really did take up a lot of my time, but I think it's gonna be worth it. So I felt like yesterday was a nice, sort of relaxing, chilled out day to do while I was feeling a little under the weather. And then towards the end of the day, I made the mistake of looking up how to install a Velux window. And the YouTube videos that I found have filled me with some terror. It all seems quite finicky, and I've never done it before. I don't know much about roofing, so I feel like I've added a very big, difficult challenge into the mix. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it's gonna give me nightmares for a while. And I'm feeling a bit nervous about it, if I'm honest, but it's just another challenge to overcome, something new to learn. And I just have to take my time and go little by little. The next step is going to be the rafters and getting them properly spaced, and then tongue and groove, and then membrane, and then cork, and then another membrane, and then I put on some, I think they're called repus here, which holds the tiles in the correct location. So there's many steps to this, and I have lots of time to ponder. Hello again from the next evening. The sun is going down, and I still have some work to do on the rafters. I was actually up quite early this morning just trying to beat the heat and sanding my little heart out, and it takes such a long time, but I do feel like it's worth it. I like the round edges. I think they look good, even though on this side they're going to be hidden. And sometimes I don't mind spending the extra time to do these little sorts of extra things. Actually, oh, hello, Michael. I can go so far to say that I always choose to do things the hard way, and these rafters are no different. Hello, little guy. I haven't seen him much around lately. How's it going? Good. So, I've done these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rafters. I have another one that I sanded, and then I bashed it on the way up to the top of the structure, so I'll have to sand that again. And then I have these 2 ones that I haven't actually started sanding yet, so I've got some work ahead of me this evening. But I feel like you've seen plenty of rafter work, even though it's taken up days of my time. I can't possibly show you any more, so I think what I'll do is just do these off camera, and then when you see me next, I'll have all 9 rafters up there and measured out, and possibly even attached down, and we'll get going on probably the walls, because I need to still get some tongue and groove, so it depends on what I get next. So I'm not feeling amazingly. I'm gonna end the video here, and yeah, I guess it's been a bit of a different one. Some jam, some garden, some Chenades, always some rafters, and a little bit of sickness as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.